Help, I can't stop masturbating, Dr. Weiss. That's our topic today. And trust me, we have had millions of views on this topic. We have had so many people over the years. I've helped really thousands and thousands of men and women stop masturbating. And I have not masturbated in almost 40 years. My last polygraph was 39 years, proving that masturbation can be stopped in its tracks. So stay with us as I explain how. If you've yet to subscribe, you want to subscribe. We have so many videos that can help you on YouTube. Please subscribe and also hit that little box for questions if you have that. Well, how do you stop masturbating? That is a question that literally thousands of guys have come. Many have flown in to Colorado Springs to do 5-day intensives just to stop masturbating. They've been doing it for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, sometimes 60 years. And they didn't know how to stop. But it's possible. Now, the first thing is you have to believe it's possible. And that's why many times I have guys go into a support group with guys who are not counselors, they're not Dr. Weiss, they're not, they're just regular guys or gals if it's a woman. And they meet other guys who've stopped masturbating for 2, 3, 5, 7 years. I can't tell you how many, probably more than 1,000 guys have told me that it was going to group on Monday night after they flew in to do intensive, they did their counseling sessions with me, they watched some videos, and they went to group, and it was the group that gave them faith to believe, or hope to believe, that they could actually stop. And it usually goes like this. They look around the room, and you know how guys are. We kind of figure out how we're, sharper, better, taller, better built, whatever we do, richer. We compare ourselves to one another, how we fit in a tribe. And they go around the room and they go, there's probably more than half these guys that are dumber than me, less successful than me, and less intelligent than me. I'm not saying this is a good judgment, but this is how they go. Now, if these guys can get free from masturbation, then there's hope for me. And I can tell you there are thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of guys who stop masturbating. So you can stop. But if you don't believe you can stop, then that by itself is a problem because you get hopeless. And I remember feeling hopeless. I remember being a young man and feeling very hopeless. I couldn't stop. I felt out of control. I felt like if you really knew me, you wouldn't love me. I felt like my sexuality was controlling me. I felt like I just couldn't even go to sleep without it. Like I know those feelings personally. And I've helped thousands and thousands of men and women get free. So I know that also feeling free, like I don't know how to do that. That doesn't even make sense. And whether you're single, whether you're married, or whether you're divorced, it doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, because marriage doesn't stop masturbation. Probably 90% of the guys I've worked with over the course of my career have been married men who are still masturbating. Okay, going into ministry doesn't stop it because I've worked with many of pastors, religious leaders, medicine men, rabbis, and of all various religions. And religion doesn't stop masturbation. Now, it can be one of the tools you use to help you. But now, what does? What does? Well, first of all, you have to believe that you can. Secondly, we have several books, The Final Freedom, 101 Exercises, and The Steps to Freedom. Those are all great tools. But in there, one of them is identifying the emotions that lead up to masturbation. Tired, lonely, rejected, okay? Wanting to feel beautiful, handsome, strong, powerful, wanting to be in control, wanting to be worshipped, wanting to be adored, wanting a woman to have a voice that, they want you, okay? Even if it's your own voice projected into their fantasy, okay? And this is with or without pornography. Pornography will often move you into different ideas. But what is your primary fantasy when you masturbate? We'll take that apart a little bit, and you might be able to find out the emotions that are driving it, or the meaning that you give it. If I masturbate, I'm loved, I'm wanted, I feel comfort, I feel close to something, even if it's a fantasy. I feel at peace. You are seeking out something psychologically or emotionally during the masturbation experience. Now, you never thought about that probably. You never thought about, well, what am I really getting out of this? Do I feel close? Am I just getting the chemicals to go to sleep? Now, I'll warn you about those chemicals. The chemicals during masturbation are the highest chemical rewards you get for anything on earth. And whatever you're looking at during that moment, whether it's real, imaginary, pornography, it doesn't matter what it is, you attach to. So you're actually creating your future sexual desire by what you're looking at pornography right now. And I've seen men and women actually shift in their sexual desires and wanting things they never wanted before because they start masturbating to it. So you are training your sexuality when you masturbate, and what you masturbate to will be what you look for. Okay, so if you're masturbating to a certain shape of man or woman, you will move towards that shape, regardless of the personality of that person. So you want to be careful about what you're looking at for sure, but that's a whole nother conversation. The next thing you want to do, you don't want to do. Okay, masturbation is a secret. And as long as it stays a secret, you will probably not get better. So you're going to have to talk to somebody. Okay, now this can be a paid person like a counselor. And if you want, call my office, 719-278-3708. We are professionals about talking about masturbation. We do it every day. Okay, we do a masturbation history. We find out what type of sex addict you are. Because if you have a sex addiction, there's 6 different types. And you want to know which one you are because you might have to hit it from different angles to get successful. And that might be one of the reasons you're not making it. Because you don't have an intelligent assessment. That's worth the 1-hour appointment just to get the assessment so you know what type of sex addict you are. The counselor can tell you in the first session. And then you can go, oh, I need to hit this, I need to hit this, or I never dealt with that. Okay, now I know why I'm stuck, because there's definite reasons why you're stuck. So you want to be able to know what type of sex addict you are. Get informed about that. And like if you've been sexually abused and you've never told anybody, you're going to have to tell somebody. Because that might be one of the reasons you're stuck. I was sexually abused, and most of my clients, 80%, are sexual abuse survivors, and most have never told anybody. But you're going to have to be honest with someone that you are doing the masturbation and the frequency. Okay? Now, that can be someone you trust. That could be a spiritual leader. That could be a counselor. But somebody, some real person, okay, even if it's over the phone with a counselor, you have to be honest, because without that, you're probably not going to heal. In Alcoholics Anonymous, their book that they wrote in 1930s, okay, they strongly said that people who can't be honest can't heal. Okay, and they've helped tens of millions of people get free from alcoholism. So it's the same principle. And I've seen it work. I know when I personally got better, the first step in that process was telling my roommate when I was in school. And from that moment on, it started to break off my life. Okay, so you want to be honest. Now, the next step is accountable. So that anytime that you do even think about it, you want to make a phone call before. This is why support groups are great, even if it's a phone support group, because you want to call someone before you act out, not afterwards and say you're sorry. Okay. Now, if you do act out, you want to make that phone call and you want to do that. The next step is also, having consequences for yourself or rewards. Consequences work like this. If I masturbate, I will go pick up trash for 2 hours. If I masturbate, I will give money to somebody, some group I don't appreciate, or I will serve in the community in some way. I will fast for a day. I will do something. I'll eat a raw onion. I've had guys have come up with all kinds of consequences. And what we find is if they actually do the consequence, the behavior starts residing because your body and your brain tell you don't do that anymore. That's not fun. Okay. I've had guys just, with the lustful thoughts and all that, they put a rubber band on their wrist and they snap it and it changes the chain, okay, from getting a hit off of somebody to saying, no, that's not what I want to do anymore. Okay, so you need to have consequences or rewards. Some people, men and women, are motivated by rewards. Well, if I don't masturbate in 30 days, I'm entitled to, an expensive meal. I'm entitled to some other thing that they want in their life or buy themselves some kind of toy. And if I go 60 or 90 days, then I'll have a bigger reward. If I go a whole year, I'm going to take a vacation in Greece. Whatever you want to do, okay? However you are set up. But here's one thing that won't help you, trying to do it alone. Now, I have had billionaires, mega millionaires, sports figures, people in the acting industry, people in science, literally rocket science. I've had the highest levels of spiritual leaders. All these very successful men and women, they fail if they try to do it alone. And being successful in one domain that does not require interdependence and trust, Doesn't mean you'll be successful in a domain that does require that you trust and that you become interdependent with another person. Now, I've had accountability partners for, many decades, and I still have one. If something comes up on the screen or, in my life, I call. I don't let something sit on me, okay? And I've been free for now almost 40 years, okay? And if you're in a marriage, another thing to do is take a polygraph test, and that'll verify that you have or have not done that. And that'll definitely help your wife to reestablish trust, because a woman who's been betrayed by pornography and self-behavior has a lot of symptoms, and the book Partner Betrayal Trauma can help a lot. Now, if you're using this to medicate some kind of chemical imbalance, you can definitely get tested for depression, bipolar or manic depression, if that's what's going on with you. If you're starving your wife sexually and you're not having sex with her, but you're over here masturbating, you might have intimacy anorexia. Go ahead and Google that term, intimacyanorexia.com, and you might have that. So that's what I'm saying. There's different reasons why you stay stuck, and getting some intelligent support. Get the Final Freedom book, get the 100 exercises, get the step book. There's lots that you can do there. Get in a phone group if you can't find a local group of some kind, and start participating in recovery. You can stop masturbating. I've seen it by thousands and thousands of men and women from all different cultures, all different backgrounds, and all different ages. The only reason you can't is if you won't do the work. So I encourage you to do the work, get free, so it's not controlling you, and you can live an incredibly great life. I have, you can, and you deserve to.